So you have harvested your fish, but what is next? Most fish farmers make the mistake of stopping here after harvesting their fish. They realize that probably they have not made profit or whatsoever. They decide to quit. But what do you do after harvesting your fish to ensure the success of your fish farming journey? Remember, this is business. This is investment. How do you ensure that you reap what you sow? How do you ensure that you grow your business? How do you ensure that you enjoy your business? I'm going to take you through 15 most important things you should do right after harvesting your fish, so that you will be ready to take the business to the next level. If you are new to this channel, my name is Abdulaziz Issa. All we do in this channel is to share fish farming tips based on our experience and research. So if you have not subscribed, please kindly do so. In this video, I'll walk you through 15 most important things to do after harvesting your fish. First is, you need to record your sales and expenditure. When you are harvesting your fish, you are going to sell. Any amount that you get from the sales, make sure that you write it down. When you write everything down, and during the harvesting or during the farming journey, whatever that you put in there as input or as expenditure, record that one there too. So at the end of the day, after you harvest, then you balance your accounts to determine whether you are making profit, you are making losses, or you are breaking even. And remember, during your first harvest, you definitely will not make the profit that you want for obvious reasons. Inexperience, high cost of initial setup, and others. But when you record that, it's going to help you to determine. The second thing you should also do is follow up on your customers for feedback. When you harvest and sell your fish, make sure that you follow up on those who purchase them. Find out about the quality of the fish, about their experience. And when you get that feedback, you take note of that and take measures for your future harvest or for your future farming. For instance, when we harvested our fish for the first time and we smoked some of them, sold the smoked fish, I had feedback from others, and some people reach out to me that the fish is kind of smelly, and he thought that they were not properly washed. So we took that into consideration. So the last one that we smoked, we changed the method of washing. I have a video on how to clean up catfish. Check that one out in the channel. So we wash it properly, and after that smoke, it was one of the most delicious smoked fish ever. Whoever tasted the fish testified that it was deliciously. So now, when the customer gets it back and he tastes it, he will understand that his feedback was not taken for granted. That way you can always improve on your products or your services. Take note of that. What you must also do is that clean up your pond and prepare for the next stock. Cleaning up the pond is very important. And I have a video on how to clean up your pond when you are harvesting. The issue is that if you harvest and allow the pond to get dirty and algae and other dirt stuck in the pond and gets dry, it will be very, very difficult to wash. You can wash, but very, very difficult. When you want to wash, you need to soak it again. But once you are draining the water to harvest, then you keep cleaning. As the water is going down, then you are cleaning alongside. When it gets down, you harvest, then you clean the bottom. This will be easy, time saving, and after harvest, whoever comes to the farm and sees the ponds very beautiful, it will attract the person. Don't let the ponds dirty like that. When you have cleaned it that way, it means that you have prepared it and you're waiting for your next stock. The fourth one is, you need to allocate portion of your sales for next stock. When you sell, don't just spend everything. Don't consume everything. Leave some money for your next stock. And like we always say, feed takes 70% of the cost in fish production. So when you make your sales, make sure that you allocate portion of the money for feed. Allocate portion of the money for equipment like aerators, filtration systems, and others. When you allocate some money for that, it means when you start, it's going to be easy for you. But when you spend all the money, and later we are going to start, it means that you have to look for new money. And that way, you will have headache in the business. The fifth one is sort and store the unsold fish. As you harvest your fish, you're not able to sell all of them at once. But you need to keep some. Either you refrigerate them or you smoke them, whatever method to store it. Make sure that you select it, sort it. If you're going to sell bigger ones and keep smaller ones, it's up to you. Do the right sorting. If you're going to sell smaller ones and keep bigger ones, it's up to you. Depending on how you want it. Make sure that you do the proper sorting and then keep the unsold one intact. If you're going to refrigerate it, fine. If you're going to add value to smoking, fine. That way, you can keep it safe. Now, the sixth one is process and package fish. If you are going to do so, assume you are going to smoke like we are doing. Make sure that when you smoke them, package it very well. And if you package, if you are going to export, it's up to you. If you are going to sell to local customers, it's up to you. But make sure that your package is very right. And even if you are not going to smoke, even the fresh fish, we package them. A customer makes a request. When you harvest, package it nicely and send it to the customer. Now the seventh one is you need to analyze the growth, performance, and survival rate. You need to make calculation. When did you stock your fish? And when do you harvest? And what size did you harvest them? How many months did it take you to that stage? Probably, if you are keeping record, you can determine. So that way, you can determine. And then when you are selling, count them. When you stock, I know you counted, sure. When you are selling, count them. Then you do an adjustment and see whether there's survival. What is the rate of survival? That is also very important. When you do all that, you can be able to determine and make more profit and continue stock harvesting. The eighth thing you should do after harvesting is to check and repair equipment. If you are using equipment that's a RAS, this is like a water system, or aeration system, or filtration system, whichever equipment that you're using, or scooping nets, whatever, all those equipment, make sure that you check them to see if there are some that are broken down, you repair them. If those that are broken down completely and you have to replace them, then you replace them. If there are others that are okay, then just clean them and keep them maintained, so that when you get everything prepared and waiting for your next stock. The ninth one is you need to manage and treat pond water. Managing and treating pond water is very important because when the water quality is high, your fish, your next stock will be better in growth and healthy. So the source of your water, if it needs treatment, you need to do that as early as possible. For instance, if the source is salty and you have to keep fresh water type of fish, make sure that you make it clean and nice for the fresh fish. Also, if it contains chlorine or whatever chemicals you need to get rid of, make sure that you get rid of it. Treat the pond water source before preparing for your next stock. The 10th one is dispose of waste properly. When you harvest, probably you have taken out the intestines or the dead fish or whatever waste that are no more needed in the farm, and you have to discard them. Make sure that you do it properly, because environmentalists are concerned about the activities of fish farmers, and these are the things: how you dispose of your waste, the waste from the wastewater, the waste fish, or these things. If you can bury them, make sure that you dig them and bury them. The best will be recycling. If you can recycle them, especially some of them, do so. If you can't have to dispose them, make sure that you bury them or put them at where it will not be dangerous for others or for the environment. Because if you just dispose it anyhow, it will be washed into the water bodies, and that will also contaminate the water bodies. That will be harmful for the consumption of humans and even your fish at the same time. So make sure that you dispose of waste properly. Then the 11th thing to do is you need to update your farm records. Update your farm records. I have a video on records keeping. It's very important. So as you keep records of your previous farming activities till your harvest, make sure that you update that record and prepare yourself for the next stock. Updating the records is as crucial as taking the records itself, so that you will differentiate from the previous one and the new one. Then you can be able to make adjustment and make comparison. The 12th one is to evaluate market trends and adjust pricing. Evaluate the market trends. When is the demand for fish is higher? You need to do that. For instance, around December, January, that's Christmas time and New Year time, the demand of fish is high in a lot of areas. It might not be applicable to your place, but most geographical locations during that time, demand of fish is high. If you observe that when you are stocking, we'll still come to the stock at the right time. When you're stocking, they know how or when to stock, so you harvest at this time. So analyze the market trend and adjust the price. Adjust the price has to do with after you harvest. Remember, record sales and expenditure. After you have done that and you compare, then you know that you are making losses. Then you see how much should we sell the fish to make profit, and compare it to the market price, and then you put your pricing or you adjust your pricing accordingly. And then also you need to plan for off-season income. There are other times that fish will not be available. Mostly there are that time, but fish will be in demand. If you can store your harvested fish to make sales at that time, that can even give you more profit, because at that time they store fish. So you can enjoy monopoly because you have stored some. That way too can help you make more profit. What you should also do is that the 14th thing is to engage with customers on social media. More importantly, if you are doing the social media marketing strategy, that's what we do. Most of our sales come from social media. So when you harvest and you make your sales, you need to interact with your customers, get their experience. You remember earlier, so you should get feedback. Engage with them. When you stock, let them know you have stock, and probably give them gist of when you will harvest again. Prepare their minds, then they can prepare their budgets and wait for you. So engage with them, find out to let them understand how you are doing your farming, and ask them to tell you their experience about your fish or your farming activities, and that way you have a good community to work with. Now you need to, as the last and important thing, to restock your fish at the right time. Stocking at the right time is very important. Like I said earlier, there are certain periods that demand for fish is higher. For instance, December. So now you need to determine when can I stock my fish so that by this time it will be ready for harvest. And to do so, you need to calculate how many months will your fish take to grow to maturity, or to the market size, or to the size that you want to sell them. For example, if it's 6 months, then you need to do your calculation. What time or which month will I stock so that by December it will be ready for harvest? I'm giving you that just for example. Don't misquote me. It doesn't mean that demand will be high in December, especially at your location. But I'm giving you that as a scenario. So when you think demand is higher, you need to do proper calculation. For instance, if I know demand is higher in December, then I need to stock somewhere June, and by December there'll be 1 kilogram and I'll be ready to sell them. So when you do that and you stock them at the right time, then you are going to make more profits. So remember, if you take these 15 things, it's going to help you a lot. And that means that once after you harvest your first time, don't get discouraged and quit. Stock again. Implement these 15 measures, and then you will be successful in your fish farming journey. If you want to be more successful, especially as a beginner, I have an ebook guide, comprehensive guide to fish farming from startup to harvest. Check out in the description. It contains almost all the topics that is needed to guide you as a beginner. Check it out. Get a copy of it on Gumroad, and to help you. And to enroll in our course, DIY Recycle Aquatic System, that will enable you to build your own flotation and irrigation system. Check that one out too in the description and tag me later. I thank you so much for watching. If you are inspired, please subscribe and like and share this video. Thank you. My name is Abdulaziz Issa.